All right, got the drive line back in. Very much a pain in the ass to do all by yourself, especially with this being down low. I think I'm gonna make me a rig, get this way up, like waist high, so I'm not having to be so far up underneath of it. But cradles are in. Now it's time to just start connecting everything back. I need to get the suspension hung back up. Need to start connecting everything. Get all that cleared up. So that's what we're gonna get after now. What should it look like? Getting stuff hooked up. Everything's basically connected. ABS was deleted. Well, I mean, its hydraulics were bypassed, so there's no need to put the ABS pump and EBCM up there. So wrapped up the harness that goes to that, rubber gloved it, and then electrical taped it, and now it's zip tied to the rack up out of the way. Everything else connected, basically. I need to get the car on the ground so I can move this out of the way, so I can open the door out of the way, so I can get the seat out, so I can crawl my big ass up underneath the dashboard. I gotta take the clutch pedal assembly off in order to put on the adjustable master cylinder. So you gotta take it off and you gotta drill some holes or drill a hole to move the push rod location. For one, we gotta remove the spring, and then we gotta get this fed through it. So I can't, door doesn't open up enough for me to get in there and make that happen with the seat and roll cage situation. See what I mean? So I gotta do that. Obviously gotta put the front back together. Not the front, the console back together with the shifter. And the exhaust needs to go on, the rest of the exhaust. And then one of the other critical things we need to do is we gotta either fix this, or I need to take the C5 one and cut it and modify it to work, or I need to go to the store and buy some tube stock and fashion something up real quick, which will be kind of hard to do because these dimensions are pretty whack, because this thing's whacked. And I won't have the front bumper. I don't have the front bumper, so the front bumper has to fit around this some kind of way. And then I don't know what this is. I don't know what that's for on a C6, so I don't know. So once I figure that out, then we can get the radiator, condenser, and fans put in. Fix the fan wiring and fire it up. Well, after fluids, obvious stuff. I got to bleed the brakes. I got to bleed the clutch, and I got to, once it is started, I have to bleed the power steering. So I'm not sure how this is even. He just took the lines off and kind of bent them up here where it would connect and work, and then zip tied everything out of the way. So I'm trying to figure everything out how it was and get it to a point where I can zip tie it back. I mean, I would definitely do something different than what's going on here. It's not my car. So, not too far away. Oh, and then I will have to, I don't know if we'll be able to see it. This thing experienced a little crunch time back here, so that's gonna have to, I'm gonna have to do something with that in order to get the tailpipes connected. So as you can see, parts left over are slim, not too much to go. So hopefully today, you know, it depends on what we're going to be able to do with this radiator support, because I can't mount the radiator without that. But if that goes well, then today this thing should be fired up. Carrying on, here is your clutch pedal assembly. So you got to take this out. And the instructions say 7/8 of an inch above the center of this pivot. You got to drill. Damn, I put mine all center. Maybe I do. You got to drill a 3/8 hole and put this through bolt through. There's also a nut. I got it sitting here so I wouldn't forget it. This nut, and this is what's going to sandwich the heim for the adjustable push rod. And then while I had it out, I was fooling with this. So, I don't know. Anyway, it was bolted the other way. I couldn't get it to go in, and these holes are specific. You know what I mean? Like you see this one over here, that one right there, that's smaller. So in the pictograms from TIC, it says that dot goes up, but it's actually clocked like this. You know what I mean? So it goes in. It will be something like this. So even then, that's like crooked. I guess it'd be all right, but because it's sealed, it's just weird. So anyway, reading through the instructions, the next step is going to be put this back in. There's a, dude, I'm not even going to try and crawl in there with the camera. On the brake pedal side, there's a bracket that goes through, and it's got 3 studs on it that goes through these holes. And you nut this to the studs, and that holds it up there. And then down with the dead pedal, the footrest on the floor, one of those, the upper bolt from that holds this piece. So next thing it says do is put this one in first, tighten it down, put these in there, leave them a little loose so you got wiggle room. And then once you got them all 3 loose, or all 3 started, jam this as far back to the firewall as possible, and then tighten them all down. Then you can stick the master cylinder through. Now, one issue I'm gonna have is I can either try and feed it through that hole, or the instructions tell you you can pull the washer tank off and go through here, which may be what I end up doing. Can you see? So I'm gonna crawl back in this car, put this back in, and hopefully I don't have to call 911. But yeah, I had to get the door all the way open, take the top off, pick the seat up, get it out, and then I gotta lay up underneath here, and my leg's hanging out up there, and it still sucks. So I'll let you know if I need rescue. Well, I spent some time with the family today, and then decided to get on this car, try and get it running before I went to sleep. Danny did come over, fabbed up this little low radiator mount, Just added some DOM, some flat stock. So was able to mount the radiator and continue on. She's full of fluids. Brakes are bled. I think the clutch is bled. Pedal feels like shit. So may have to adjust the master cylinder and bleed it by old school leg. I tried using that, and seems like I got decent flow, but it feels like shit. I won't know about engagement until I get it running and see, what clutch engagement feels like. Got most of the exhaust put on. Like I said before, he's got to fix the rear over here, and before the muffler pipes get put on. But speed engineering kit, that was a fiasco. We fought with it for a while. But I tried starting it up, and like nothing happens. You hit the button and the dash comes on and goes off, and fuel pump doesn't kick on. I don't know. Hooked a battery box up to it. It's got plenty of battery. So yeah, I don't know. I'm smelling a lot of fuel. I have a fuel smell, big time, but in the back of the car, not up here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's late. It's almost midnight. So I'm gonna catch a couple hours of sleep. I'm gonna hit him up in the morning and be like, hey man, how do you start this thing? Because I've started it before. I drove it over here. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, you hit the button and like nothing happens. I even tried getting my big ass in here. It's impossible. And pushing the clutch down so the neutral safety switch is activated, and nothing's happening. So I know I hooked the neutral safety switch up when I was under there, so there's no need, I don't know. So I don't know. I guess we won't hear this thing run tonight, but hopefully I get an early response out of them. Figure out how to get this thing started, and once it starts, just need to hear it run, get some heat in the engine, run through a couple bolts, top off some fluids, and then she gone. So he's got a competition this weekend he's already signed up for, so we're kind of under the gun. He needs to finish his fab work, get his body put on, take it to a tuner, take it to an alignment shop, take it somewhere else, I don't recall, but we got a lot of stuff to do. Well, he has a lot of stuff to do. Hopefully not me. Hopefully we figure out how to get this thing started in the morning, and it fires up and he takes it home. So the wait continues. Sorry. So that last bit of video was Sunday. It is now Tuesday morning. We spent all Monday, all from first crack till late, trying to get this car started. Chased everything, pulled every fuse, pulled every relay, multiple times. Chased switches, changed some stuff, probed everything, could not sort it out. Just cut to the chase. What it ended up being was I disconnected the EBCM, the ABS pump, and removed it. He has the ABS pump bypassed, so I was like, well, no need to have this hunk of shit in the way. I took the connection, wrapped it all up. I think I showed you all that, and taped it to the rack out of the way. Didn't think nothing of it, man. But hey, there it is. It's Gen 4, CAN bus. Everything talks to everything. You have to have everything here for anything to work, I think. So, hauled ass over to his house, grabbed the ABS pump, came back, plugged it in, left it hanging. Like, it's part of the diagnostic, chasing ground, making sure the starter worked, all that. We took the exhaust back off, this header's off, coils are disconnected, the fuel pump relay is out just from, you know, all the on and off. We just like thought it would be a good idea to disable the fuel pump. And on 4 cylinders and just a little bit of fuel that's left in the rails, it fired right off. So I was frustrated, tired. I just called it a night last night. So today, the objective is get the exhaust back on, get the engine bay button back up, get that ABS. Well, he sent me some information on bypassing the ABS, the EBCM. I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not. Whatever's gonna be, if it's gonna be easier for me to cut those wires and tie them together versus just mounting the bitch back up there. Whatever's gonna be easier for me, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so let's see, that's a little too bright. Oh shit. Mother. Anyway, it's just not gonna cooperate. But once you peel this back some, it is very evident. There's 2 tan blacks. So we're gonna give them a snip and a snip, strip them. I'm gonna dab some solder in there and then heat shrink it all up. And then hopefully this thing starts up. If not, like I said, I'll have to splice it back together. But get it to this point and it's very evident. So there you go. Well, that's not it. 100%, that's not it. So, dude, I knew I should have just bolted that bitch up. Yeah, because none of this is doing what it's supposed to do. Everything's wacky. So, I'm gonna have to, and the shit about it is I just got it off the damn lift. You gotta, get out of here. Oh. Jesus. You gotta like set it down on the cribs, take the extensions off, pick it back up, set it down on the ramps, get the lift arms out, push it off the ramps so you can get in and out of it. So, well, I guess it's right there on the front. I'll just crawl on the ground, solder all those back together, bolt the ABS, EBCM up, and that's that. Fuck, so close, man. I knew I should have just left it, but still got nothing. Oh. That's not good. That sounded weird. Sounded really weird. I'm gonna poke around a little bit.